Welcome, my dear students. Today we'll talk about the full perfect market competition. We will know what are the total revenues and the average revenue and the marginal revenue in the perfect market, and we'll have an example about this. So please pay attention to me. Thank you so much. Now we have example already. I have an example. I just want to share the screen, then show it to you guys. So here we go. We start by 0 and go till 10, and the price and total revenue and total cost. So I will do it on the board, and I just want you to pay attention to what I'm doing. Thank you so much. So yeah, we are back. So now I put in the on the board the numbers which will be given in the example. So even for the third column here, as you see, for the third column, like you see here, this quantity, this is the quantity, and this is the price. This is the quantity, for quantity from 0 and it's going down to 10, to 10. And then the price is from, the price is constant, it's 240 to 4. It's constant, it never changed, it's the same. Then we have the total revenues. How we will get the total revenues then? How can we get the total revenues? How can we get this total revenues? Actually, the total revenues will be the price by the quantity. So 244, the price, 244 by 1. As example here, 244 by 1. It will give me 244. And the next one, 244 by 2. It will give me 488. 2 by 244. It will give 288. So column 3, this column 1, this column 2, this column 3, the total revenues will be the multiplication of column 1 multiplied by column 2 numbers. The numbers of 1 multiplied by the number of 2 to give me the numbers of column 3. This we call it column 3, we call it total revenue. Total revenue. Then total cost is column number 4. Total cost will be given. So I will not calculate total costs. It will be given. That's why I wrote it already and finished it. Now we will come to the average revenue, which is the column number 5. So average revenue, how I will calculate the average revenue? Average revenue will equals what? Average revenue will equals the total revenues divided by the quantity. Total revenue by the quantity. The quantity. Quantity. By other way, the average revenue will be column 3 divided by the numbers of column 1. So it will be column 3 divided by the numbers of column 1, as you see here. Column 3 divided by the numbers of column number 1. So as example, let's go for the first one. This is, by this it will give me 0. Let's go for the second one. 244 by 1. As example, 244 by 1 will give me 244. That's why here it is the average revenue will be 244 here. Then actually it will be with increasing like 488 by 2. It will give me 244. Right? Then we'll go to the next by this way, and we will complete the whole column by that way. because 725 divided by 3, then it will give me also 244. So all this column, the average revenue will be 244, the same, 244, 244, 244, and we'll go on till the end, 244, 244, 244, because you are dividing the average or the total revenues divided by the quantity in any level. As example here, 1952 divided by 8, it will give you 242 as well. Then 244, then this is 244. This is for the average revenue. The next column will be the marginal revenue. And of course, the first one also will be 0 here, because it's here as example, the total revenues by the quantity 0 by 0, it will be 0. So because the 0 here is not in the counted in the production, we start from 1, but just this for illustration. Okay. Now we will come to the column of the marginal revenue. What about the marginal revenue? It's the change in the total revenue. We said this before. The marginal is the change in the total. Okay, when we increase 1 unit in production, what will happen to the total revenue? So it is the difference in between the total revenues, like 488 minus 244, it will give me the marginal revenue. So marginal revenue here will also be the same, because when you conduct, let us do it. Let's do it and see. The first one will be 244 minus 0. This will be 244. Then go ahead, because it's already 244. So now let's go to the next one. 244 minus 0. This is 244. The second one is the same thing. Every one of them is the same. Okay. Let's go for the next. It will be 244. 244. 244. The reason why it is 244 as well, the reason why it is 244, because when you deduct, as example here, 488 minus 244, this will give me 244. Okay, 732 minus 488, it will give me. So I will write the rule here. In this case, I will write the rule here on the board. Then you can understand it, because we said before that the marginal revenue will be the differences in the total revenue, because we add one more production unit, or we sold one more unit. What will happen to the total if the quantity is changed with 1? Okay, so as example here for the level 1, it will be 244 minus 0, that will give me 244. For level 2, 488, right, minus the one preceding it, 244. This will give me 244. Then 732 minus the number before it is 488, and that will give me also 244. And for the rest of the column, the same thing, which I counted just now, the marginal, it will go on 244 for any level. 244, 244, 244, 244. Okay, then we still have the marginal costs. Marginal costs is the same as the total cost. Is what's happening exactly in the total cost. Okay, I mean, the difference, what we did in the marginal revenue, we will do in the marginal cost as well. It will be the same idea. So the word marginal means what will happen in the total if we add one more unit, or if we sold one more unit, or if we produce one more unit, what will happen to the total? So it's the difference in the total due to adding one more unit. So let's go for this one and check out the marginal cost, how it will be. For the first one, we will put here nil as well. Then we'll go like this. See, what are the total costs? This is the total cost. Then we will deduct it from each other. So as example, 590 minus 480. Here, let's do the calculations of it. Here, we want the marginal cost. So we will work on the total cost. So the total cost here, 590 minus 480, 590 minus 480, this will give me 110. Go for the rest of the column with the same thing. Go for the rest of the column with the same work. Like now, we'll take 670 out of 590. This will give me 80. And so on for the rest of the column. And the numbers will be like this: 110, this is 80, then 55, then 80, then 140, then 80, then 140, then 188, then 244, then 308, then 390, then 470. Like you see here, what happened to the marginal cost? It declined, then it started to increase back. In any level, just let me show you something. Let me say, I want to count the marginal cost, this one, 390. How did we get this 390? Look at the total cost here, 270 minus 166, 1680, to 2070 minus 1680, it will give me 390. Okay, how about the last one? 2540 minus 2070 will give me 470. So this is the marginal cost. I just want to ask you one question. Where are the three similar numbers of those digits, which are equals also to the price, to the selling price? It's here. In front of how many units? Of the production of 7 units. Again, now we are going to look in this schedule or in this table for the similars in between the marginal cost and the marginal revenue and the average revenue. And no, this from one side, and they equal or not equal to the selling price from the other side. Let's see, because this is the balance in the perfect market. Okay, so we have here 244, we have it here, and the price of selling is 244 as well. So this achieve the balance term in the perfect market. This will achieve the balance term in the perfect market. I just want to do it with a blue pen so it will be clear for you guys. Here we go. This is 244, which is similar in the marginal costs and in the marginal revenues and in the average revenues and in the same time with the selling price. Selling price is not a change in the perfect market, because we said in the perfect market, no one can affect, no one is having market power. The market power means that if I can affect on determining the price of the markets or no? No, absolutely. In the perfect market, you don't have as a seller any market power or just to employ your terms or to put the price, to set the price. No, because a lot of people are there, many buyers and sellers, so you will not affect about them. You won't be able to affect about them. Okay, you won't affect them. So here we go, and this is the balance point. Now let's go for the profits, because this is the highest profits, supposed to be the highest point of profits for in the perfect markets. in the perfect market competition, this is supposed to be the highest point. So the first point here as example is for the profits in this point. If I say that in this point the total revenues is 0 and the total costs are 480. So what do you think about the profits? I know that the profits will equal total revenues minus costs. I know that the profits, let me do it here because it's not appearing very well on the board. So I would say profits will equal revenues minus costs. That's fine? That's fine. So I will go to fill up this column by this way. So I have the total revenues here in this column. This is the total revenues. And I have the total costs in this column. So what I will do is simply, I would say as example, 0 minus 480, 0 revenue minus 480. This will give me minus 480. So I will write here on the first column minus 480 and so on for the rest. As example, here the revenues is 244 and the total costs are 590, and I will go for the rest of it by this way, minus 346 minus 182. Look, the profits here is minus, means that you are losing in this stage. In this stage, still you are losing. Then profits will be 7. Here, the profits start to be positive, and this is the first point for the profits to be positive in 7. Here is 176. Here is 280. Here is 336. Here is again 336, and watch out this point, 336. Hey. Look at this. This is the maximum price profits. These are the maximum profits. Those are the maximum profits in the perfect market. Why? Because it's in front of when the marginal cost equals the marginal revenues equals the average revenues equals the price, then in this point, this is the maximum profits. So I can say here now that maximum profit will be in the point of when the maximum cost, the marginal cost is MC, equals the marginal revenue MR, the average revenue AR. That's all, the average revenue, that's all equals the price. As you see in this point, the 336 here equals in this point, this is the maximum profit. Max profit. This is the maximum profit in this point. Maximum profit. Let me just write it big here like this. Maximum profit. Why? Because in this point, the marginal cost equals the marginal revenues equals the average revenue, equals also the selling price, which is 244. The selling price, which is 244. And then I will complete the schedule. You will notice after this point that the profits will go down. When we are going, the profits will go down now. Look at this. 272. After this point, 272. I mean, when you deduct the total revenues here, which is 1952 minus 1680, then it will give you 252. Then 126. Total revenues here are 2196 and total costs are 2070, then the profits will be 126. 126. And finally, the last number in the profits is minus. We came to the minus back, minus 100. You can watch here the profits or revenues are 244, but the cost, as you see, is more than the revenues because the costs are 2,540. Here, 2440. Here, 2540 for the costs. So the costs are more than the revenues. That's why it became the minus. So in the perfect markets, in the perfect competition market, as you see, the maximum profit, or the point which will recognize or which will realize or which will achieve the maximum profits for any organization working in the full or the perfect competition market is when the marginal cost will equals the marginal revenue will equals the average revenue will equals the selling price. And like you see here, $336, this is the maximum profit in this column. This is the largest number actually in this column, okay? And after this point directly, prices will start to go down. The profits will start to go down. After this point, the profits will go down. Again, we'll say 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, quantity and price are given. You will multiply the total revenues, which would be the price multiplied by the quantity, and you will get this column. As example, 244 by 1 will give me 244, 244 by 2 will give me 488, etc. for the rest of the columns. You will have the total costs. You will have the total costs. You won't deduct it. You won't get it. Then you will say here the average revenue. How you will get the average revenue? You will get the average revenue by the total revenue divided by the quantity. So the average revenue, as example, if it's 244 by 1, here the total 244 by 1, it will give me 244. 488 by 2, it will give. So you will find that this column also is constant, that the average revenue will be constant. Then the marginal revenue also is constant in this example, because the marginal are the difference in the total revenues. So as example, let me tell you any number here, 244. It will be 244 minus 0, it will give me 244. This 244. 488 minus 244, it will give me 244. And the rest for the rest of the column. Then we come to the marginal cost. The marginal cost, we said, are the difference or the change. What happened to the total costs if we add one more unit, if we produce, if we sell one more unit? What is the effect of extra one more unit on the total? So as example, now I'm getting the marginal cost. I will check out the total costs. So I will go like this: 590 minus 480. Then I will see this will be 80. Then as example, 725 minus 670. This will give me a marginal cost of 55, and go on for the rest. The difference in the total cost due to producing extra unit, what will happen? I will deduct the number from the preceding number of the column in which you want the marginal. Which one I want the marginal? I will deduct the totals from each other to get the marginal. The total, the number of the total, minus the preceding number of the same total. Okay. Then the profits are known. From what we will get the profits? Get it from the total revenues minus the total costs. As example here, 244 minus 590. This is area of losses. This area. Then here start the area of the profits. Right? Profits here. This is losses. So maximum profit, as I said, is in this point. Why this point 336? This is the maximum profit, and at the same time, it's in front of where the marginal cost equals the marginal revenue equals the average revenue equals the price, selling price, those all in the perfect competition market. And this point, he will never, the investor or the owner of the business will never get more profit than 336. After that, start the profits to go down, and here it came back to be losses minus 100. Thank you so much for listening to me, and I wish all of you a very good night. Stay safe. Take care of yourself. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye bye.